The NFL regular season is officially over, and as a Cowboys fan, I'm happy that the Giants finally put us out of our misery, and I'm excited for the upcoming offseason because this was not a fun season for us Cowboys fans. However, that does mean that we get a better draft pick, and although the ideal scenario was that the Cowboys tanked and got a top 5 draft pick earlier in the season like I said they should do, they still are in the top 10 and can still get some really good players from it. But anyway, this video is not about the Cowboys, so let's stop talking about them now, because if not, this video will end up being an hour-long rant just about the Cowboys. Hey, what's up guys, it's Akhil from TNB Productions, and in today's video, we're going to be predicting the outcome of the NFL playoffs all the way from the wildcard round to the Super Bowl. Quick request before we get into the video: if you're not already subscribed or haven't already liked the video, please do so, as every one of you guys that watch our videos and are subscribed immensely helps the growth of the channel. Without any further ado, let's get into the video. These are the teams that made the playoffs in the AFC and the NFC conferences and their standings. The teams that are shown consist of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, and Indianapolis Colts in the AFC. The NFC playoff teams are the Green Bay Packers, the New Orleans Saints, the Seattle Seahawks, the Washington football team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Chicago Bears snuck in with the 7th seed, which is a new thing this year. This is the playoff bracket we will be following throughout the video. The first conference that we will start off this video with is the AFC conference, and the first game we will be predicting is the Bills versus Colts. The Bills are the number 2 seed and the Colts are the 7th seed. The Colts have been a nice surprise this year, playing through their extremely capable defense, but even with the Colts having a good defense, although not as good lately, Josh Allen has been having an amazing year this year, and while this should be a fun game to watch, I don't see the Bills coming up short in this one, as they almost won a playoff game last year with a team that just was not as good as it is this year. So, with a better team and more motivation from last year's loss, I have the Bills advancing to the next round, where they will play the Chiefs in the divisional. The next game that I will predict is the Steelers versus the Browns. The Steelers hold the 3rd seed entering the playoffs, and the Browns hold the 6th. Now, I may be speaking more from my heart and hope than I am from my head, but I think the Browns will upset the Steelers in the wildcard round. This year is the first time in 18 years that the Browns have made the playoffs, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the 2nd longest playoff drought in NFL history after the Saints' 20-year drought way back when. However, the Browns are facing some major COVID issues, being down their head coach Kevin Stefanski, a couple of other coaches, and Joel Bitonio, one of the best guards in the league, all being out to the coronavirus. That being said, I'm not confident in this one, however, I am still hopeful about it happening. Anyway, I have the Browns winning against the Steelers and moving on to the second round, where they will face the winner of the Ravens-Titans game, which is the next game that we're going to discuss. The Titans hold the 4th seed, and as hot as they've been lately, the much underperforming Ravens hold the 5th seed. This will be the rematch of last year's divisional round, where the Titans just absolutely humiliated the Ravens, including this moment where King Henry turned what was supposed to be a Pro Bowl safety in Earl Thomas into his lead blocker. So far, all the Ravens have done in the playoffs is just choked since Lamar Jackson became the starter, and if they lose again in the first round, that will really start to stick to Lamar Jackson's resume long term, in an already underwhelming season for him and the Ravens as a team, for their standards at least. I went back and forth on this one, however, motivated after last year's absolute humiliation by the Titans, I think Jackson and the Ravens will take advantage of the horrible Titans defense, and Jackson will finally win a playoff game for the first time in his career, as long as, of course, King Henry doesn't have anything to say about that. Now let's go to the NFC side of the bracket and predict their wildcard round winners. Like the Chiefs, the Packers are the number 1 seed in their conference, meaning they do not have to play in the wildcard round and automatically get a bye week in the first round of the playoffs. The first matchup in the NFC wildcard that we will discuss in this video is the Bears versus the Saints. The Saints were in contention for the number 1 seed most of the year, playing through their run game with Alvin Kamara and their amazing defense. I think that with Michael Thomas coming back, they should be able to beat the Bears in an easy one, but it's the NFL playoffs, so you really never know what could happen. The next matchup that we will go through is another divisional rivalry game, with the Seahawks and the Rams both playing very well this year, and as a result, they have both earned a playoff spot in the wildcard round. As well as the Rams have played besides, this, the Seahawks will win this one, especially with Jared Goff probably not being able to suit up after the thumb injury. The last matchup that we are discussing in the wildcard round is the football team versus the Buccaneers, and we really shouldn't have to discuss this, but let's just do a quick overview of it. Washington has an awesome defense, and of course, it is possible that they upset the Buccaneers, but it really depends on who's playing quarterback for them. For now though, at least, I will go with the Buccaneers to win this matchup and advance to the second round to play against the Seattle Seahawks. However, with their great defense, I do think that Washington has a chance to upset the Bucs, and if I had to pick an upset in the playoffs, this would be the one outside of the Steelers-Browns game. So this is what the bracket looks like heading into the divisional round. Next up is the AFC divisional round, where the Chiefs play the Bills. If this happens, it will definitely be a great game, as the Bills are one of the few teams that I think have the personnel and the coaches and the potential to actually take down the Chiefs. This would be an incredibly fun game to watch, but I think the Chiefs will win it and move on to the conference championship game, ending a great season for Buffalo, although Buffalo does have a great chance to win it, and among the teams that have a chance of beating the Chiefs, Buffalo's at the top of that list. The other AFC divisional round matchup is yet another divisional rivalry game, with the Browns playing the Ravens. The Browns upset the Steelers in the first round, and the Ravens beat the Titans in the first round in a prediction that I went back and forth on many times before actually deciding. But the deciding factor was of course the Titans defense. I think that the Ravens will win this one to advance to the AFC Conference Championship game for the first time in Lamar Jackson's young career. Back to the NFC, the Packers versus the Saints, the number 1 seed versus the number 2 seed. The Saints have a great chance at winning this game, of course, and it's honestly almost 50-50. But in the end, I chose the Packers in Aaron Rodgers' revenge season because he is currently playing out of his mind, and I don't think even the Saints with that elite unit on defense will be able to stop him from advancing to the next round. The other divisional round matchup was in fact the Seahawks versus Buccaneers, and I ended up choosing Seattle to win it behind a great game by Russell Wilson, and a great game by the really hot Seahawks defense right now, advancing to the conference championship to face the Packers. This is the bracket heading into the conference championship round. Now let's stick to the NFC for the conference championship game, because this is one that I just went back and forth so much to the point where I literally could not decide this one by myself. The Packers and the Seahawks are both great teams, and it's really a coin flip for who wins this one. That being said, I chose the winner of this game by literally flipping a coin because I just could not decide it by myself. In the end, the Packers won and advanced to the Super Bowl, but I would not be surprised whatsoever at all if the Seahawks did the exact same thing too, with Russell Wilson at the helm. On the other side of the bracket was the Ravens versus Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and even as hot as the Ravens have been lately, this was frankly not too difficult of a decision for me, as I chose the defending Super Bowl champs to go back and have a chance to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. The Chiefs have just had Lamar Jackson's number since he entered the league, and I think that, yet again, the Chiefs will take down the Ravens and get back to the Super Bowl as long as they do not overlook them as an opponent. So the Super Bowl matchup is the Chiefs versus the Packers, and if this happens, it will be one of the most entertaining Super Bowls we have seen in recent memory, from Patrick Mahomes taking on Aaron Rodgers, that looks like he's back in prime MVP form in his revenge season after his team traded up in the first round to draft a quarterback. Both of these guys were two of the top MVP candidates this year, and the team that I think will hoist the Lombardi Trophy is yet again the GOAT, Nathan Peterman. Okay, no, but for real though, as boring as it sounds, I think that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will find a way to do it again and repeat last year's championship season and bring home the Lombardi Trophy once again. So after all of that, this is the end bracket and how it looks like, but I would not be surprised at all if the Packers, Seahawks, or even Bills won the Super Bowl this year. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because it took a long time to put together, and if you did, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, or whatever you want to do to help support the channel. If you disagree with any of my predictions, feel free to comment on why, and we can talk about it in the comments section. This is our first NFL video in a while, but if you did enjoy it and think we should start incorporating more NFL content on the channel, then you can help this video do better, and that'll tell me that we should start doing more content related to the NFL, especially with the off-season coming up, which, for fans of teams that didn't make the playoffs like me, that will definitely be exciting. Other than that, it's been Akhil from Teen B Productions, and I'll see you in the next video.